Hi, everyone, and welcome to our today's session. This week, we look at how to start a non-profit organization, part 3. Remember, it's a series of videos. So if you've missed out on the previous one, please check other videos and catch up with us. Today, we'll be looking at non-governmental organizations. Before we go there, for those who do not know me, my name is Lucy Njue. And my mission is to help founders and professionals working for nonprofits to attract and retain donors by equipping them with grant writing skills and simple, easy to use and affordable fundraising resources to help you grow your organization and transform more lives, which is what I know we form our nonprofits to do, is to transform more lives. And as usual, my favorite quote, the secret to getting ahead is getting started. And so I just want to remind you, we say there's no overthinking, just start. If you want to start your NGO, your CBO, start doing something. As you do your registration, start building your portfolio, start taking some action, not in a very big way, but take some action so that then you start building your journey. And last week, we covered the CBOs. We looked at what CBOs are, their key features. We looked at the registration process of our CBO, and we also looked at some of the requirements, the things that you need to make sure that you have put in place. This week, we continue with this series, and we look at how to then register a non-governmental organization. So for NGOs, what is, first of all, we look at the definition of an NGO. It's quite a lengthy definition, but basically it's a private voluntary grouping of individuals or associations. So it could be groups, could be associations, but the key thing is that they're not operated for profit or for commercial purposes. So people come together, organize themselves, could be at a national level, at an international level, but it's not for profit. And the key purpose is for the benefit of the public at large. So it's for promotion of things like social welfare, development, charity, or research in areas inclusive of, but not limited to health, relief, agriculture, education, industry, and the rest. So basically, I think the two main things that you need to remember, which I know we know, is that it's not for profit. So you're not allowed to do any kind of trading or any kind of commercial work when you open an NGO, which is quite different from when you open, for example, a company limited by guarantee, which we will be covering during our next week, I believe. But basically, for an NGO, the rules, the regulations are very clear: what you can do, what you cannot do. So what are the key features of an NGO? One, of course, is a non-profit functioning, which we have mentioned. Any income which is generated should be used for expanding NGO activities. That's the key things. If by any chance you generate any kind of income, then that income must be used to expand your activities. Values, it should address a social, cultural, or economic cause, and it should work towards public good. I think that's important to remember. It has to be something that is you're doing for the public good. It is voluntary. Of course, NGOs are voluntary to solve a common problem within the society. In Kenya, you have to be legally registered for you to be recognized as an NGO, and you register with the NGO Coordination Board. And of course, you cannot be involved in any criminal activities or any antisocial activities. Okay, so now let's look at the NGO registration. And the process for NGO registration is a little bit more tedious and has more requirements compared to the CBO. So the starting point is a name search. So the first step is for you to fill in a form for reservation of your name. It takes usually a day, and they also require you to pay Kenya shillings, 1,000 shillings. And basically it's like securing your name, or for them to assess and see whether this name can be used by an NGO. They'll see whether there's another organization that has already used this name, or if it's a name that looks very similar to a government department, they may not agree to, but they will inform you. Then once you have done your name search and your name has been reserved, then you fill in Form 1, what they call the form, I think they commonly call the contact form or something like that. So basically, it has very general details about the organization, the contacts of the name of the organization, the contact person, their physical location, and the scope, and it should be filled and signed. So it's a form. You can download it in their website, although when you download it, you still have to pay for the forms. You have to pay Kenya shillings 400. And then the other key form, which is the main form, is the Form 3, which is now the detailed application form for registration. This is one which has all the requirements, and that is what we are going to be looking at. What are these requirements that are needed in Form 3? So for you now to submit all your documents. So basically, this is a summary of all the requirements that you'll be needed to submit at application stage. So you will need your approved copy of Form 2, the first one that we are talking about, the name search form. And then you need 3 copies of the Constitution signed by 3 top officials and 2 board members. And they have provided a prototype or a sample of a Constitution that you can use to customize it to your needs. So they give you the guidance. If you go to their website, which I'll share the link down below, I'll share the link to their website. You can easily get that. You need copy of minutes authorizing application with a specific agenda and resolution to register the organization as an NGO. So just like the CBO, you need to show that there was a meeting that was held by members. In this case, there will be the board members, and they actually request at least 5. So you have 3 top officials, the chairman, the secretary, and the treasurer, and at least 2 other board members. So you come together and you need to have a meeting, conduct a meeting, and the agenda, one of the agenda in the minutes must be, a resolution by the members. So you have to show that members came together and made a resolution to register an NGO. And then also the other agenda that must be present is the election of the officials. So you have to show that there was a process where you elected the 3 members. So it was not just by decision, but there was a process of, electing the members. The other thing that I had mentioned earlier, I think in my first video, I remember a while back, you need to have a proposed 1-year budget. So you need to show, what are the activities that you intend to do and what are the budget implications of that. And the other thing I know I mentioned earlier is that in the form, you'll actually also be asked some of the, not some, but how you intend to raise resources. And I'll also be sharing with you, I'll take you through the form for you to see how the form looks like, for you to familiarize with it. So keep it here. I will do that as well. So yes, you need a proposed 1-year budget, and then you need to also have a letter accompanying your application. That is not all about the application. The other things that you need to attach for each member or for each official and at least 2 other board members, they need to also submit 2 current passports, recent ones. They have given some more details around them, and they should be taken, I think, the background should be white or something like that. But basically 2 current passport size photographs of each official, their IDs as well, or passports, and also the KRA PIN certificates are required. So you need to make copies of all these. And then also they need a police clearance certificate. I think you need to take note of this. You need to have clearance from the Kenya police if you are Kenyan. For those who are foreigners, then you need also clearance from your mother country. And something to note is that if you are registering an NGO, an international NGO, then at least a third of the board members must be Kenyans. So if it's an international NGO that you want to register, then you have to make sure that the board members, a third of them, are actually people who are Kenyans, so they're Kenyans. And then there are these associated costs. For the name search, you need 1,000 shillings. For the application forms, you need Kenya shillings 400. And they say, even if you download the form in their website, which is okay, you can download, fill it, but when you'll be submitting, you have to show a receipt of 400 shillings. For national NGOs, you'll be required to pay a processing fee of Kenya shillings 16,000, and for the international NGOs, they require you to they require you to pay Kenya shillings 30,000. And what I want to say is that there's a lot of information in NGO Coordination Board website. And again, I'm going to share with you the link where you can get all this information. But I'll also be taking you through the application form just for you to see how the form looks like. But it's something that is very much doable. For other people, they prefer to engage a lawyer. That will require you to pay some extra amount of money, of course. But again, you can engage a lawyer to help you go through this process. But I think it's something that if you can, I mean, if you have some time, you just need to spare some time. I still think it's something that you can be able to do it for yourself. Remember, we are trying to save as much resources as possible to make sure that we reach and have impact in our society. So I know every coin matters. So if you have the time, I think it's something that you can also prepare and submit to the NGO Coordination Board. And with that, I want to really thank you for staying with me. And as always, before I end, for those who would want to learn so much more about the basics of fundraising, I have written a book where I share in details some of the simple steps that you can take to kickstart your fundraising journey. I just want to encourage you. There are some things that you are struggling with that can easily be answered by this book. It goes for Kenya shillings 500 only. So please take your copy and get started. And I will also be sharing the link where you can easily get the copy. And for those who would want to learn so much more about how to write award-winning proposals, I have a detailed program, self-paced online program, where you can, where we get to learn about the different components of a proposal, and most importantly, how to develop them, the language to use, what must be, what is attractive to the donors, and all that. And so, yeah, for more, you can check out my website, www.lucynjoy.com. Thank you very much for staying with me and for your time. I do appreciate a lot.